Welcome back to SB Nation and the Floor. I am Dan Rubenstein. That is Matt Ufford. It is Final Four time. Let's start at the top. Ohio State, Kansas.
Yes.
We know about Thomas Robinson on Kansas. We know about Jared Sullinger on Ohio State. That's the big matchup. Give me a name that people don't know about that's going to affect this game.
I think on Kansas, my favorite player has got to be John Kansas. No? What about Jay Hawking? Rock Chalkton? What in the world could that be?
Why it is our old chap, Nick Fasulo, who is probably, I like old chap, who's going to speak to this with actual college basketball authority. So let me repeat myself. Jared Sullinger, Thomas Robinson, we know that's the big front court matchup. What are the other names, be it in the front court or back court, that are going to affect this game?
Up top, Tyshawn Taylor. He's had inconsistent, really 4 years at Kansas. This could be a great opportunity for him to step up, not only score, but distribute the ball against Aaron Craft. That'll be a very interesting matchup to watch. It seems like any point guard that goes up against Craft, you say, oh, that'll be a cool matchup. I think this is. This could be a defining moment in Taylor's career.
Tyshawn Taylor, the Kansas point guard, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. Down low or kind of, defensively, I think you got to look at a guy called Kevin Young.
He's called this.
You rarely hear about him, but I think the matchups, he's going to get some minutes in this game. Deshaun Thomas is a really versatile inside-outside player.
Right.
Kansas doesn't really have a guy in their starting five that can match up with him. You don't want to bring Thomas Robinson out. You don't want to bring Jeff Withey out, obviously. That'd be silly. So it kind of comes down to this Kevin Young guy who's been kind of looks scared sometimes out on the court, but if Bill Self can put him in maybe 10, 15 minutes this game for more defensive purposes, he could come up big. You always hear about this unsung hero type guy. He could really be it.
Let's talk about the other matchup that has received sort of the lion's share of the attention, Kentucky and Louisville. Off the court, it's been exciting. Do you see it being as exciting on the court? Obviously, the names involved for Kentucky are all NBA prospects, and Louisville, Gorgie Jang is in the middle, but you don't hear about as many names with that team. How do you see this going?
Kentucky's going to win. I think the excitement building up.
That was easy.
The excitement building up to this game is going to be a lot more exciting than the actual game itself, even though I'm very excited to watch this game. But, Kentucky has gotten so much better as the season has gone along because they're so young.
Right.
I know you're going to say, well, Louisville's healthy, and they are healthy, and I think that that's going to benefit them for maybe 25 minutes of this game as opposed to maybe 15.
Right.
But it's just so hard to keep up with Kentucky for 40 minutes because they have guys all over the court that can score and defend, whereas Louisville, I think they are just at a disadvantage down low. They're going to have to somehow get 30 points from Russ Smith, which he's capable of doing. He actually did it against Kentucky in December, but it's just you're asking too much out of the guys on Louisville to come up big, whereas Kentucky just needs to play their game.
So it's Ohio State, Kentucky. This is what we're taking from this. Perfect. And on the bigger stage, the bigger sort of picture with this, the game's at the Superdome in New Orleans, a huge stadium. We've seen depth perception issues before with shooters. Is there any team that's going to be affected by a stage like this, whether or not playing to the stage or actually maybe wilting on that stage?
Yeah, I don't really look too much into that. I know it can certainly affect a team, but I think you just have to look at a team that's going to rely most on the outside shot.
Right.
Kansas, they're going to rely on the inside game. Obviously, Kentucky is. Ohio State has Jared Sullinger. Louisville doesn't have a lot of offensive guys down low.
Right.
So like I said, Russ Smith, Kyle Kirk, they're going to have to make shots. And will that affect them in a Superdome where you're in the middle of a football stadium?
Right.
It could.
At least early on, potentially.
Yeah, it's I've never played in a game like that, so I can't say that it would affect them, but I could see how it could make a difference.
All right, so much information on the Final Four. Let's actually get into some whimsy.
Look, it's Mickey Rourke.
What? That was weird, and now Matt Ufford is back, so let us get into whimsy because that sort of feels like what you're qualified to talk about. Yeah. Last night, we saw a college basketball dunk contest. The winner was James Justice, 5'9", throwing in ridiculous jammers.
Out of Martin Methodist College?
It's something like that.
It's something similar to that if it isn't already.
The amazing thing is he has no torso or legs, and he was still able to dunk.
He is, 5'9". How tall are you, Dan?
I'm 6'1.5".
Tall drink of water.
Tall drink of water.
I'm 5'10". I cannot dunk.
Can you get
that.
net?
I can get net.
We can get net.
Woo! All right.
It's kind of ridiculous. No, it's really awesome. Watch
He's
the
shorter
clips.
than us. What a sucker.
That is Matt Ufford. I am Dan Rubenstein. This has been The Floor. Thank you very much for Nick Fasulo for providing actual
Final Four talk.
Legitimate information on the floor. Comment below if you disagree with Nick or Matt or myself, because you probably will, because you're smarter than all of us. That's fair, right? Subscribe. Let's wrap it up. We'll see you soon on The Floor. Enjoy the Final Four.